Hey everyone, I'm Dan, the mixing guru from Endless Recording Studios. All right, quickly, what we're going to talk about today is phase alignment. Now, a lot of times you can record something and you have multiple mics all over the place, and that creates problems with your phase. Things, as far as the time it takes a sound to get to the microphone and into your system. And when those two sounds don't line up in time, you're going to have comb filtering. That's a whole subject for a whole nother video. We're not going to get into that today. We just want to show you how to fix it. It's usually a subtle difference, helps you in the low end a lot, but we're going to dig right in here. So drum kit's a common source of this. Okay, let's just see how the snare drum here. See how the waveform on the snare top and snare bottom are not lined up. The snare bottom is a little bit farther away because it's a little bit farther away from that top head where the sound came from. So you want to make sure you have some room ahead of it, and you're going to select it. And just going to go ahead and slide your track right over and try to get these where the wave fronts start to line up. And you got to kind of look over it and make sure everything else is lining up fairly well throughout. You might want to adjust a little bit here and there. Never going to be perfect. They're making two different sounds, two different types of microphones, but you want to get them lined up. It's going to help a lot. And what I do too is take the snare and watch this. The snare drum into the overheads is usually an issue. See how much farther behind the overheads are? And this session wasn't mic'd up as well as I could have. This is an old session I wanted to show because of this. I didn't measure my overheads, and you can see how one of them's really, really far behind the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and play the drums for you real quick. Listen to the snare. Okay, doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound, as good as it could. But just watch this. Slide this up here. I usually try to match the snare. The snare is kind of your driving element. So I use that as my time alignment for everything. I go in and I match stuff up with the snare, then the overheads, and then I'll match stuff up with the overheads as they need. So, reasonably close here. Now, and then we've done to the bottom. Listen to it now. Now, I don't know if you can hear the difference. So, A to B. Now, like I said, subtle difference, but you hear a lot more, it's more distinct, more powerful, and there should be a little bit more low end in it. You can go through, do that with your kick drums and toms, all kinds of other stuff, but the snare is most important. Snare to overheads, that helps a lot in your mix. And, then we're going to go through bass. Anything that has multiple mics, multiple sources that might be out of alignment, you want to check. And you want to look through and say, like, the bass, the DI, is going to come a lot quicker to the board than the microphone signals are. And if you look in here, the microphone signals aren't perfectly lined up either. So we're going to go and we can take a look here. And let's see here, turn off the group. We'll use the DI because that was the closest to when he played it. Everything else is a little behind. So we'll just scooch that over. Scooch that over. Again, they're not going to be perfect because they're different sources with different mics, but you're going to kind of try to aim for the peaks and valleys to be together. So things, it looks pretty good to me. Okay, listen to just the bass. We'll turn this off. So when we fixed, and we'll go back here. Here, all the low end and the bass is much more distinct, and the whole thing just sounds a little cleaner and tighter. That's what you're going to get. Anytime you do that, you're going to get rid of phase issues, phasey sounding stuff. Everything's going to be much more clear, much more tight, and you're going to have a lot more, the low end response is going to come out. And that's going to clean up your whole mix. You go through all your tracks, mostly anything multi-mic'd. All right, so this is Dan from the Mixing Guru from Endless Recording Studios. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything.